This is Barry Zalma, speaking for Claim School Incorporated's newsletter, Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter for August 15, 2024. This issue, Volume 28, issue number 16, continues the more than 28 years of publication of the free newsletter. And it is the source for the insurance fraud professional. Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter is dedicated to those involved in reducing the effect of insurance fraud. ZIFL is published 24 times a year by Claim School and is written by me. It is provided free to anyone who visits the site at the link on the blog, and this issue contains the following articles about insurance and insurance fraud. The first, fraud doesn't pay, but for some reason keeps on trying, and fraud perpetrators fail in their attempt to get around settlement. Operation Backcracker, a joint state and federal criminal investigation, exposed a ring of Minnesota healthcare providers, mostly chiropractors, who were recruiting car accident victims and fraudulently billing auto insurers for their treatment. In related civil settlements, several providers, several chiropractors agreed to not bill some of the insurance companies for any treatment provided to their insureds. The chiropractors, after entering into that agreement, sued, seeking to void the no-bill agreements used to reduce the insurer's losses by claiming the settlements violated Minnesota's No-Fault Automobile Insurance Act. The district court enjoined Illinois Farmers Insurance Company and others from entering into or enforcing the no-bill agreements, only to find that the Court of Appeal affirmed the agreements. Next is more on McClenny, Moseley Associates in the 33rd installment of the saga of McClenny Moseley and its problems with federal courts in the state of Louisiana, and what appears to be an effort to profit from what some magistrate and district judges indicate may be criminal conduct to profit from insurance claims relating to hurricane damage to the public of the state of Louisiana. On August 5, 2024, for example, in a case called Martin v. United Fire and Indemnity Company, the court found that although after damage to Mr. Martin's property as a result of Hurricane Ida, the law firm of MMA filed a lawsuit on behalf of Mr. Martin, who had no interest in the lawsuit and had not authorized the lawsuit being filed. And as a result, it was dismissed. You can read the full article in the entire issue of ZIFL at the link provided. Then there's a list of health insurance fraud convictions, starting with one where a New North Haven, Connecticut counselor admitted defrauding Medicaid of more than $1.6 million. Rachel Collins, 44, of Hamden, Connecticut, waived her right to be indicted and pleaded guilty before U.S. Judge Sarala V. Nagala in Hartford to healthcare fraud. According to court documents and statements made in court, Collins was a state licensed professional counselor and owner of Rachel Collins LPC Counseling Services, LLC, located in North Haven, Connecticut. Collins provided psychology therapy to children, adolescents, and adults but particularly children and adolescents with a variety of behavioral and mental health issues. She was enrolled individually as a behavioral health clinician provider in the Connecticut Medicaid program and was convicted because she was billing for services she did not provide. You can read the full article. And dozens more convictions for health insurance fraud at the link provided. Then there's another article on convictions of other than health care insurance fraud, starting with an article about when it rains, it pours on poor Mr. Lindbergh, and the federal court stated that Greg Lindbergh and his firms must pay $167 million to a defunct Dutch insurer. Although Lindbergh was an insurance investigator, he is now awaiting sentences for a North Carolina bribery conviction, and his companies, if they have any assets left, must pay $160 million to an insolvent life insurance company in the Netherlands. You can read the full article and additional other than health insurance fraud convictions at the link provided. Then there's an article about why a defendant gambled and lost. He turned down a favorable plea offer and insisted to and went to trial only to find himself convicted, and learning that when you do the crime, you must do the time. Thomas Scher was convicted of healthcare fraud and conspiracy to commit the same. The district court sentenced him to 96 months imprisonment. Scher appealed his sentence, arguing the court erred in its loss calculation and in its application of a sophisticated means enhancement. In United States of America v. Thomas Scher on August 1, 2024, the United States Courts of Appeal for the Third Circuit dealt with this felon's claims for a shorter sentence and told him he should have taken the plea because by going through trial he had to go through and be sentenced in accordance with sentencing guidelines and could not then compel the settlement sentence that was offered to him and turned down. Next is an article about timing of submission to an examination under oath, dealing with an interesting lawsuit called Bugavioni versus Allstate, a 1997 decision of a New York court that affirmed a summary judgment in favor of the insurer because the plaintiffs failed to timely provide the requested tax returns, credit history, or authorizations for those documents, and that was found to be a material breach of the policy. The court explained that, quote, while the plaintiffs refused to provide the defendant Allstate with the requested documents, they also demanded that the defendant give them a formal response on their insurance claim under threat of litigation. Their attempts to cure the failure were made only in response to the defendant's rejection of their claims. A breach of the obligation to submit to an EUO or examination under oath is not cured by belated offers to provide records. You can read the full article and the entire issue of ZIFL at the link provided. In addition, there was an article about dishonest insurance agents and brokers, since, as we all know, insurance fraud is an equal opportunity crime, and it is perpetrated by every race, religion, national origin, or sexual preference, as well as every profession performed in the country. And the most common kind of insurance frauds perpetrated on an insurance buyer is committed by insurance agents and brokers. They include, but are not limited to, premium diversion and many other schemes. Many times these agents represent well-known companies, making them more credible. However, these agents still steal money paid for premiums, often through a practice of premium diversion, where as straightforward as agents taking the money paid for the premium keep it for themselves instead of sending it on to the company. Agents will create a policy and let it lapse, or they cancel it without the insured's knowledge, or never even create the policy to begin with. They just send a receipt to the insured. The worst part of this kind of embezzlement is that the insurance buyer will usually not find out about it until a claim is presented, only to learn there is no policy. You can learn about this type of fraud and many other types of agent or broker fraud. You can read the full article and the entire issue of Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter at the link provided. This video was adapted from my blog, Zalma on Insurance, which is available free to everyone who clicks on the URL zalma.com/blog, and you can subscribe to the blog, and also you can subscribe to the newsletter at the link provided on the blog. These videos are free, as are the blog and the newsletter. And if you watch the videos, I'd appreciate it if you click on the like button on YouTube and the thumbs up button on rumble.com. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog and the newsletter so they too can subscribe. And if you'd like, you have my permission to forward the blog and or the newsletter to anyone you like. Thank you for your attention.